Ed Reed played at the University of Miami. Deion Sanders played at Florida State University. Both of these institutions are in the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Both of these institutions used to be the kings of that conference. Both of these institutions fell off to a degree. Both of these institutions allowed Clemson to rise up and become the king of that conference. Neither of these institutions gave Ed Reed nor Deion Sanders an opportunity to be their head coach. Some black schools did that. I guess in their minds, some trash schools did that. The group of 5 schools wouldn't hire them either. Or at least they wouldn't hire them and allow them to just be the kings of the castle and do whatever they wanted to do. So their own alma maters wouldn't hire them. These other Power 5s wouldn't hire them. The group of 5 wasn't going to hire them and let them just come in there and change what they want to change, do all that kind of stuff. These smaller white schools wasn't going to do it either. But where's the smoke for them? Where are the rants and the public outrage? Public outrage, not behind closed doors where you calling them racist. I'm talking about publicly calling them out for not giving these Hall of Famers a chance. But we don't see that. We see all the vitriol for the HBCUs that gave them a chance. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is the realest, most entertaining sports show in the game that's put it on something. I am your homeboy first. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all put all your people on it. Make sure you put this in your group text. Make sure you put it in your Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff. Okay? Become one of the realest ones. Join the channel. And feel free to hit that Cashapp. We got to talk. We got to talk, people. Just a lot of misplaced anger. A lot of misplaced anger. And I am flabbergasted by it. I am befuddled that in 2023, we don't get it. We don't see the play. In 2023, y'all really think, not y'all, real ones, y'all get it. Real ones, y'all know y'all are seeing some folks out here that are thinking that Bethune-Cookman was wrong for not following through on a contract with Ed Reed. After Ed Reed publicly, via the internet, basically cussed out his prospective employer. Because he didn't even have a contract yet. I hear folks talking about where they do that at in terms of how they let him go. Where they do that at where you can publicly cuss out your potential, your prospective employer and still get the job. Where they do that at. Come on, man. Where they do that at that you can tell your prospective employer that they have broken mentalities and you still get the job. What the fuck are we talking about? This shit is checkers. This ain't even chess. What are we talking about? It ain't about the fact that Ed Reed saw some shit that he didn't like and was frustrated about it. It's the fact that he took that public and besmirched the university that he wanted to work for. You can't do that. Prime didn't do that. Obviously, we see now it's a bunch of stuff Prime didn't like. Some of it is overblown. But that ain't what he did on the way in. All he had was praise for Jackson State University. All he had was praise for Ashley Robinson. All he had was praise for the president of the university. All he had was praise for the city of Jackson. It wasn't all this crime invested a murder every couple of months thing when he was on his way in. Hell, even doing his tenure there. It's so resilient and all this kind of shit. See, Prime is polished. I told y'all before I did a video, I say he's a master politician. Ed Reed now is polished, which is cool. I ain't got no problem with it. But all that shit he should have said to them folk, just said to them folk, and then move forward and get the shit fixed. But that ain't what happened. So you can't blame anybody for this happening. For Ed Reed not getting his job, you can't blame anybody but Ed Reed. And the fact that that is not the narrative is fucking crazy and it's horrible. A horrible notion to put out here for these kids that they can do that. Because they damn sure can't do that. And definitely can't get the love of all you motherfuckers out here for doing so. If that was one of your kinfolk and they went to a potential job and they went on IG Live and snapped out about the job before they didn't got the job, you would say, man, what the fuck you do that for? That's what you would say to them. But because I keep telling y'all, black celebrity privilege. It's not white privilege. It's not white privilege. But it is privilege. Because of that, folks trying to act like Bethune was wrong. Hell, I'm shocked that Bethune did it. Because these schools been so underfunded. These schools are they're black schools. So you come from, there's only one group of people in America who've been fucked over more, arguably, than black people, and that's Native Americans. So you talking about the lowest of society, systematically the lowest. So of course it has issues. Of course it has issues. So many times you would think they would take, deal with some stuff that other schools wouldn't deal with just because, hey, where else we gonna find another Ed Reed to come on down here? So okay, we'll he said that, but we sure want him and all the good things he gonna bring back. See, you would think that they just roll with it. So I'm shocked that they did. They did what's normal. This is the norm. Let's flip it. Let's say Ed was up for the job in Miami. He's in contractual negotiation with Miami. Okay, you weren't gonna see the trash. Okay, the campus is pristine. But let's say he dealt with some of this racist bullshit. Let's say you had like what Prime dealing with out there. Okay, let's say you got some naysayers talking about how they don't want. This is what happened to Prime now. You had some folks talking about Prime trying to turn Colorado into an HBCU. Some folks are upset with Prime the way he came through the door and told his players, many of whom were white, that they might well hit the portal because he bringing his luggage with him in his Louis. Some folks had a problem with that along racial lines. Okay. What if Ed Reed read that? Let's say he trying to get Miami job. Read some shit like that with these folks trying to get at him on some racist bullshit. And he just snapped out. Oh, these motherfucking crackers and racists up here in Miami. I done played for this school, and y'all got the audacity to say this about me. I can play for y'all, but I can't coach for you motherfuckers. Broken mentalities. You know damn well Miami wouldn't hire that man. You know it. You know it. But see, we ain't saying that shit. First of all, he wasn't gonna do that shit. And if he did, he'd be out the door and y'all wouldn't be up here cutting up like this. What Prime dealing with out there in Colorado, he ain't saying nothing about that. He acquiesced. They told his son, hey man, you can't post on our stuff no more because what you posting does not align with our image or whatever the hell he said. He said that, by the way. That's not me speculating. That's what his son said. That's what his son said. Okay. Prime's an Under Armour man. They made him switch to Nike. He's acquiescing to that because they got the leverage. See, the thing is, everybody looking at the HBCUs and say they ain't got no leverage. You ought to just be happy that the rich black man saying he want to come fuck with you. But I can tell you like this. If you want to do whatever you want to do, you better be the boss. You got to be the boss. And see, that's what we missing out on. And I keep saying it. Most of these guys who have been blessed enough to make it to these leagues really haven't been bosses. Most of them. They've been high-paid employees. In high school, they showed up to where the coach told them to show up. Okay, they ain't build that program. All right, they were just great for that program. In college, they showed up when the coach told them to show up. They didn't build that program. Okay, they were just great for that program. In the pros, they didn't build those fucking businesses. Okay, they were employed by those businesses. Okay, you had a team owner, you got a GM, you got all these motherfuckers that's running things. Okay, they just show up when they're told to show up. Okay, they ain't been no bosses. They've been having to do what other motherfuckers tell them to do the whole time. The HBCUs were giving them an opportunity not to be the ultimate boss, but to have a lot of free reign that they're not going to get at the EPWI. Because if you want to be able to just snap out like I'm doing right now, you got to be the boss. And guess what? I am. Guess what? I am. I can do this because I'm the boss. I can talk freely like this because I'm the boss. So our kids got to know that. Of course those kids want Ed Reed to be their coach, man. Of course. If you were 18, 19, 20, 21, them kids don't even know about all this shit that we talking about. It's the same thing I was saying about how Prime's players were confused about the backlash that he was getting. They love their coach. I told y'all that coach and player relationship is one-on-one. Then throw in it's a celebrity coach, somebody that they can Google, somebody they want to be like. Of course they want that man to be their coach. That's an obvious reaction. It's an understandable reaction. But sometimes the grown folks got to be grown. Sometimes the grown folk got to make calls that are unpopular with the kid, and the kid might not understand. You feel me? Hell, right now, my fifth grader want a cell phone and really don't understand why I won't let her get a cell phone. And all her little partners got cell phones. But I'm trying to tell my daughter that it's my job to protect her. So I got to be grown. Does she like it? Hell no, she don't like it. But I got to do what's best. Now, I'm not saying that the players had to be protected from Ed Reed. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But obviously, the administration believes that the institution must be, the reputation of the institution. And that's fair. Because the man just snapped out on the institution and all the folks leading the institution before he even officially got the job. Now I see a narrative is starting to take hold out there that Prime and Ed Reed, they don't settle for mediocrity. They don't settle for nothing but the best because they were the best, you know what I'm saying, in their profession. Well, if they were the best, why the fuck won't the big PWI just hire them first without making them prove it? You can't just give me because they were inexperienced. I've given y'all time after time the example that Jeff Saturday did not have to prove it. He didn't have to be nobody position coach, went straight to head coach. Steve Kerr didn't have to prove it. Didn't have to be nobody position coach. Went straight to head coach. And a great job, by the way. Not a trash job, a great job. Steve Nash didn't have to prove it. He went straight to a great job coaching 2 Hall of Famers. So don't give me that. If these guys were the best, and they were, Prime is the greatest corner ever. Ed Reed is arguably the greatest safety ever. They were that. But why don't the white schools view them like that? Yeah, nobody wants to focus on that and say that they're doing them wrong by not giving them a chance and trying to make them be position coaches and make them recruit for them without giving them a chance to be the HC. But nobody's saying that. Too few are saying that. Some folks are, and them folks got some damn sense. But if we're going to talk about, oh, they are the best and they expect the best, what about some of these other folks? Prime and Ed Reed are not the first former pro players that then came and coached at some HBCUs. They're not. They're not. Hell, I was at the Jackson State basketball game versus Bethune-Cookman. Both of the head coaches for the men's team, former NBA players. Reggie Theus was an all-star before and was a bucket, averaged like 18, 19 points for his career. Had his own fucking TV show. Mo Williams was an all-star in the NBA. He won an NBA championship. They played with LeBron Raymond James Sr. These men have seen the best of the best, seen the heights. They've been on the PJs. They've been in all the great clubs. They've been in all the facilities. They had the broad. They did that. Eddie George up there at Tennessee State was a Heisman Trophy winner at Ohio State. He damn near won a Super Bowl. He was literally this far away from winning a fucking Super Bowl with Steve McNair. He done seen the heights. Hugh Jackson then breathed some of the rarest air because he was a head football coach in the NFL. Doug Williams breathed some of the rarest air, won a Super Bowl as a black man at the quarterback position. And those just few off the top of my head. That's just few off the top of my head. Okay? I know there was a real one out there. You wanted me to do a segment about this very thing, and that's when my mom broke her ankle and stuff like that, and I got thrown off, okay? But this queen had a whole list of all the former pros that had been in HBCU. Shit, Eddie Robinson over there that Prime got into it with is a former NFL player. Played a decade, I think, in the NFL. What we talking about? Is it they just got to be Hall of Famers? Is that what it is? Because the folks I named ain't Hall of Famers. That their standard is a little different. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here with this. Get out of here. Fame doesn't give you more foresight than everybody else. It doesn't. Money does not give you more or better morals than everybody else. It doesn't. I will be rich. But that's not what's going to give me the moral high ground. It's not. How I treat people will. My empathy for people will. The books that I read will. My attention to detail will. My willingness to help the people will. That's what's going to do that. You feel me? Because people out here acting like these boys are the only folks that give a damn about the people. Ed Reed even said these folks don't care about these kids like I do. What? Do the educators matter? Do the educators matter? I guess folks out here thinking that Prime and Ed Reed cared more about the students of Bethune-Cookman and Jackson State University than some of the kids' own teachers. And I got a big problem with that. Huge problem. See, I post a picture about showing me meeting some of the real ones. You know, to my some OGs, you know, to my that gave me some great words. You know, to my and I greatly appreciate y'all, all y'all that I saw at the basketball game. You know, to my it was a thrill to meet y'all. So I posted a picture of me and some of the real ones. And some bitch ass motherfucker come under that. Talking about stop talking down on Prime and what are you doing other than ranting and complaining? Bitch, you got me fucked up. Let me tell you what I'm doing. Roll with me. Stay with me. Okay? That's what I'm doing. I did a decade as a teacher and coach. Decade. See, kind of like Prime and Ed Reed. Like their own alma maters didn't want them. So the PWI didn't want them. White folk wasn't gonna give them that chance off top. Since I was attacked by police and defended myself, and then in my interviews, I told the truth about it. See, I graduated #1 in my fucking class with a 4.0 in psychology. I was supposed to be a psychologist so I could help the people. Somebody watching this right now needs some goddamn therapy. I was gonna help you. But when I tried to go into that field, when they learned about, when I don't think it was showing up in my record, okay, because it was dropped from a felony to a misdemeanor because in exchange for me not filing a complaint on this racist piece of shit officer, okay. And even though I had 8 witnesses in there, I was still found guilty by this bullshit ass judge that paid a fine, okay. But me telling the truth about that in interviews, they wouldn't hire me. It took a black woman who was a principal, Dr. Felicia Jackson, to give me a chance because she understood. I love her. I thank God for her to this day. I did Everybody Got a Story with her. Y'all go check that out. It's on the channel. She is an amazing woman, activist, mother, educator, all that. So she gave me a chance to be a coach and a PE teacher at first. And I was so good at what I did, I was finna get a promotion. See, that year I taught PE for everybody, the preschool kids on up to 6th graders. And I coached basketball. She was about to promote me to the 5th, 6th grade teacher, but the school contracted. It lost those 2 grades. So I ended up teaching the next year at Sister Thea Bowman, which is a school right on Lynch Street. See, I used to be at work at that school and drive down to Jack State for my night classes to get my official license as a teacher. I was so good there that the principal used to say to me, "When you gonna be a superintendent?" That's what I did. In my 3rd year, I went to a high school, William Sullivan High School in Durant, Mississippi. There, I was a teacher of the year. First year in high school, teacher of the year. I was teaching Mississippi Studies. I was teaching world geography, world history. But then on Fridays, we got outside of the book and we did something called character education because we had somebody come to our school and we were supposed to be one of the worst schools in the state. That's what they used to say. So we had somebody come to our school and say, spend 5 minutes a day on character education. So I chose, forget that. I'm going to spend 1 whole day per week on it. And on those days, from August to December, we would do topics. We would talk about gangs. We would talk about the obesity crisis. We would talk about how to deal with it if somebody in your family dies, okay? We would talk about relationships and how to make smart relationship decisions. We talk about all this real shit. And then The next semester, from January to May, we would do a film series. So I would show them films. As a fatherless child, I had to learn a lot of life lessons from the media and stuff like that. So I would show them films like The Pursuit of Happiness. I would show them Lean on Me. I would show them all this kind of stuff to give them some kind of inspiration. And I would pause those movies and talk to them about the real shit that they were seeing. That's what I did. There's where I started a big money drawdown where I take money out of my own fucking pocket and give it to my kids in exchange for their success on their test. Okay. So every 9 weeks I gave away money. First 9 weeks, $25. Second 9 weeks, $50. Third 9 weeks, $75. Fourth 9 weeks, I gave away $100. A seat note, what I used to call it. And I turned it into a game where if you put all your names in the box, all the kids that had performed very well on the test, the names went to the box. I spin the box, pull your name out. If your name come out, you out. But if your name get left in there, you're going to be the person that win the money. And the kids love that shit. That's what I did. I used to clean my own classroom. Motherfuckers talking about picking up trash. I used to have to clean up behind these kids who just would throw trash on the fucking ground. I ain't had nobody clean my room. I had to do that shit. I used my own money to buy over $300 worth of books for my students. The autobiography of Malcolm X, just because I wanted them to read something from somebody who had a pride in being black. I used my own money to buy supplies. And in the midst of that, I was threatened by students. I had a kid walk up on me after he had been suspended. This is his first day back. He walked up on me and said, "I heard you had it, cuz. Give me $30. And after I checked his little ass, he was a perfect student in my class. And I love him to this day. The world might not, but I do. Because he just needed somebody that wasn't scared of him, and it was real, that he could relate to. A strong black man who was smart. And that young man was smart and would sit in my classroom just like that, not take any notes, and still make 100 on my test. That's what I did. I broke up fights. That's what I did. I was so stressed out, it felt like I was having fucking heart attacks. Found out through all this that I had a heart condition. And they would tell me, just keep your stress level down. And I would have to tell them, man, I'm a public school teacher. I'm going to keep my stress level down. And I made about $32,000 that year. That's what I did. My fourth year, I was so good that I didn't get the Teacher of the Year award. I walked in there and I asked the principal why I didn't get it. He said, Coach, I can't get to you every year now. But I was so good that next year he moved me to teach the state test. And in that fifth year, the scores increased by 37%. And that was my first year ever teaching the course. Also that year, I won the district championship as the interim head coach. Also that year, if I'm not mistaken, that's the year that I did a Black History program that my students performed tremendously in, and they loved it. That's what I did. In my sixth year, I won a district championship as the first official year as a head coach. And that was in a district that had the eventual state champions in it. And we had great test scores. And I won my second Teacher of the Year award from a different administrator. That's what I did. What did I go through? I was told that year that if I wanted some money for my basketball team, that I should go to Black Diamonds and shake some. That's what I was told. Fuck we talking about? Fuck we talking about? That's the kind of shit I went through. That's the kind of shit other educators are going through. And y'all sitting up here acting like somebody's doing this man wrong. Hell, they doing all of us wrong if that's the case. Where's our support? That year, students broke in my car. One of my players set it up. No one was punished. I had to keep coaching the player. The player who's at, I had to keep coaching the player. The kids who did it, everybody knew. They started walking up and down the hall. I had to get my own car fixed. I was not allowed to leave the school because I actually did something that mattered. I taught U.S. history, which was a subject area test. If you don't pass that test, you don't graduate. Now they changed the way they got all these other methods of graduation. But at that point, you had to pass that test or you ain't going to walk. So I had to come to school in those conditions. I thought I had to be ready to fight every day. I stopped wearing my customary shirt and tie. I started wearing just, some like I'm dressed now. Without the hat. But in some shoes, just in case I gotta go. Because somebody broke I was the most popular person. And all these stops are the most popular person in the school. But still going through all the shit you hear. And still got the job done. Still got the job done. I still would have been at that school, but that school folded and went and merged. And they created one big school. So then I went to another school, new principal, got my 3rd Teacher of the Year award. That's what I did. Assistant coach for state champions. That's what I did. Great test scores. That's what I did. 8th year, great test scores, district champs in basketball. 9th year, great test scores, state champs again in basketball. North state champs in track. I was over the distance runners that year. Them little motherfuckers will tell you about me. They chose to skip one of my practices before a big meet, and they went to senior skip day. And I told them if they went to senior skip day, you better not bring your ass and try to go on that bus when we get ready to go to this meet. And we in the playoffs. They brought their ass, and they did not get on that bus. I paid money out of my pocket for some other kids to run in their place. And then I made those boys show up on Sunday to run miles to get their spots back. They appreciated me for that. They said, Coach, don't play. I made them be men. That's what I did. Did another Black History program that the kids loved. That's what I did. That year I got hit in the face by one of my students / players or track athletes. I checked his little ass and then I taught my class. He loves me to this day. That's what I did. My 10th year, great test scores, district title as a head track coach. 1st year as a head track coach, district title. And I was an administrative intern. That's what I did. I came out of my own pockets to buy supplies. For instance, we didn't have a discus for the track team. So we would go to these track meets and my boys had to borrow somebody else's shit. And I was like, man, that's putting me at a disadvantage. That's putting the kid at a disadvantage. I want you to have your own shit. So I just went ahead and bought the shit myself. And them shits ain't cheap. That's what I did. And the most I ever made to do all of this was somewhere between $52,000 and $54,000. And the only reason that was that high is because I was an administrative intern. They gave me like 10 racks for that. I don't think I ever had a teacher contract that said more than like 42. Somewhere in there. That's what I did though. Right now, in one of my current businesses, I still go around the state teaching children, inspiring children, and trying to show their teachers how to do what I did in the classroom. And the kids love me for it. I don't get a chance to know their stories like I knew my kids' story, but they enjoy when I show up. Now, why did I tell y'all all that? What the fuck does that have to do with Ed Reed? I tell you what it has to do with. First of all, I want y'all real ones out there to know y'all fucking with somebody who different. So when I speak on these issues, I don't speak as somebody who does not know what the fuck they're talking about. I dedicated my life to the people. I did. And I didn't leave the classroom to go, I didn't leave these schools where you had most of the kids from struggle to go to some affluent school like I was recruited to do. I got a partner who a principal. He told me, man, if you come over here with us, you'll have a 100% pass rate, and you'll just have all this because the kids were not struggling readers. Man, you wouldn't have to deal with all that. I told him, man, I'm gonna stay where I'm needed. And I did that until I left to become a boss. Because I knew in that system, I can't talk like this. Because they got what's called an educator code of conduct. So it's certain things as an educator you're not allowed to do, you're not allowed to say, and all that kind of shit. So what happened with Ed Reed ain't nothing new. Teachers around the country are held to a different standard. Employees of universities and schools are held to a different standard. And I chose to say, I don't want to be muzzled, so I'm going to leave that. I don't want this cap on my pay because you're undervaluing me, and I want to be rich for my family and so I can help this world, so I left that. But I know what I'm talking about because back then I was helping the people, and right now I'm still helping the people. So you are a part of something different. So that's the first reason I told y'all all that. Secondly, there are educators with similar stories throughout America in these K-12 systems and at HBCUs. My sister is an educator at Jackson State University. She is a professor. She cares deeply about her students. When something going on with her students, she bring that shit home with her. She be stressed out, frustrated. And she's a graduate of Jackson State, but she loves her students. I posted her one time. She just got a doctorate. I posted her, and one of her students said, "Oh, I just love her." My OG that y'all see on here sometime with me, C. Lee McInnes, an educator. He loves his students, loves them. And you got this all around the country. But somehow the narrative is now that these rich celebrity coaches care more about the kids than the fucking educators that are there doing it for less money. Come on, man. I shouldn't have had to leave education to try to get rich. I'm a great educator. Like I said, my sister's a great educator. My mama was a great educator for 40 plus years. So I already be rich. If America valued education the way that it values athletics, but it doesn't. But we forgetting the educational portion of this. And it's especially crazy at Bethune-Cookman because the school is named after an educator, a legendary educator. This woman's so legendary that the white history books do include her in it. At least a sentence is mentioned about her being a part of Franklin Delano Roosevelt's Black Cabinet. You know, they ain't gonna put too much of us in there. You're gonna get your Malcolm, you're gonna get your Martin, you're gonna get Marcus Garvey, you're gonna get W.B. Du Bois, you're gonna get Booker T. Washington, you might get Ida B. Wells, you're gonna get Rosa Parks, you're gonna get these figures. Well, but Bethune makes it in. This woman was different. But she ain't run no ball. She ain't make no tackles. So the educators that are on campus that are like her, I guess they don't fucking matter and they don't care about the kids. Man, you lost your motherfucking mind. So I advise the masses to educate themselves about Black history in America so you can truly understand the struggle, so you can truly understand why these HBCUs or why these Black schools in the hood, why these Black schools in these rural areas are facing the dire straits that they're facing. Are there some incompetent people in all these places? Hell yeah. I encountered some. But if the money wasn't funny, you can get incompetent people ass out and attract competent people. If the money wasn't funny, competent people want to be paid. And the history of this nation shows you why the money is funny in the Black community. But some of us out here think it's just black inferiority. Why? Because you undereducated, miseducated, or uneducated altogether. But we better get it right. Better get it right. Because while there's all this commotion over a fucking football coach in the state of Florida, the governor of the state of Florida just declared Black history as having no educational value. So let's stop misplacing our anger and direct that anger where it needs to be directed. Put it on something.
Thank you so much for watching my daddy's YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, and turn on your post notifications. Okay, how do I do it?